Man, I love fighting games, and I love anime sword boys.
Pause.
Pause? Pause what?
You said something gay, so you gotta say no homo, or else you the homo.
How y'all doing? My name is JAYOSEVEN. Today we have created a roster full of anime sword boys, magic girls, and monsters, all from JRPGs. The genre of JRPGs has arguably been monopolized by Japanese company Square Enix, formerly separated as Squaresoft and Enix before the merger in 2003. In this roster, we have characters from a multitude of Square Enix properties, including Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest, and more. Before we get into the characters though, I just want to say that this game will most likely never happen, but if it did, I would like it to be a 3-on-3 fighting game with healing mechanics and some in-depth dual or triple attacks, just like the games these characters come from. Now the game will play similarly to that of Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear Strive, and DNF Duel. Kind of, I guess, I don't know. With all that being said, we will go through each character and essentially discuss what their archetype would be. Some descriptions will be in depth, others will be straightforward, as I've only indulged myself in 2 or 3 games in this roster. I had a huge amount of help in creating this video, so without further ado, I would like to introduce Carlito, my cousin, the man who made the graphic for the roster, which will be shown later, and made a video about sand. Now please sit back and relax as he introduces this first batch of characters.
When you think of Final Fantasy, what number do you think of first? Being the number 2 most selling game on the PlayStation 1? That's right, 7. Today I'll be showing you which characters from Final Fantasy VII belong in this roster. First off, we all expected it, Cloud Strife, the protagonist of 7 and the eventual leader of the terrorist group Avalanche. This character is one of gaming's most recognizable faces. He's the Mario of Square Enix. He would be a character that's easy to learn to introduce you into the game. An all-around character for projectile, flashy moves, and his Buster Sword. Next we have Tifa, Barret, and Aerith, 3 extremely loved members of Avalanche. Barret would use his gun arm and be a zoner, keeping you away from him at all costs. Tifa would be the opposite. Using her brass knuckles in martial arts, she would be a rushdown and get in your face to beat the shit out of you. For the loved Cetra Aerith, she would be an all-around character, using her staff for physical attacks while also having a lot of ranged spell skills and unique healing abilities. The 2 final Avalanche members we'll be adding are Yuffie and Vincent Valentine. Wu-Tai Ninja Yuffie will be a rushdown, and Vincent Valentine will be an all-around character for projectile. Now let's move on from Avalanche and onto some villains. Final Fantasy VII has a few different groups that reappear a lot. There's Avalanche, the Turks, and Shinra. So let's get a Turk in here. The speedy electric fighter of the Turks, Reno. Reno will be a really fast combo-based character who also has 1 zoning projectile.
It's nothing personal, bitch!
Now for Shinra, let's get the new president of Shinra, Rufus Shinra. Rufus would be a zoner having a lot of shooting-based attacks. We have a lot of Final Fantasy VII so far, and this isn't a Final Fantasy VII roster, so let's finish it up with these last 2 very important characters. The soldier first class from Gongaga, Zack Fair, best friend of Cloud Strife. He would play like an alternate Cloud, being more advanced for people who want to play Cloud, but way more technical, and not meant for beginners. And finally, yeah, we expected it. One of the most recognizable villains ever, Sephiroth, the one-winged angel. Sephiroth is going to be another technical character with a few projectiles, a sword-based moveset, and technical mechanics. Now that's it for Final Fantasy VII. I played the game to its entirety and adore it, so it was an honor coming on here and speaking about it. I'd appreciate it if you check out that video I made about sand, as well as subscribing to my channel. I put a lot of effort into this video for JAYOSEVEN. That's it for my section, guys. I'll see ya.
Thank you, Carlito. I appreciate the effort you put in. Love you, bro. So now we're gonna start off adding the rest of the Final Fantasy characters that are on here, because Final Fantasy takes up like half the roster. We're gonna start off with the mascots and the enemies. First off, we got Moogle, who is like an item toss character similar to Peach in Smash Bros, but I don't know, it's a lot more consistent with good stuff. It would be crazy. Chocobo, you know, the big chicken, probably gonna be a speedy combo character, you know, kind of crazy. Cactuar, probably the fastest character in the game if you want to be real. You'll go crazy, just whoosh around and shit and just mix you up. Then we got Tomberry, you got a zoner with a weird ass command grab. All right, now we're gonna get into Final Fantasy 15. You know, we got all 4 party members from Final Fantasy 15. We got Noctis, Ignis, Gladiolus, and Prompto. Noctis, his moveset is basically a stance change. When you change weapons, you know, you can go from hand to hand, sword, gun, lances, etc. And then you got Ignis, who is basically like this might piss some people off, but he's basically Sanji, except he uses his hands. And he also has a grapple hook command similar to like Scorpion, Nathan Spencer from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Joker from Super Smash Bros, etc. And we got Gladiolus, who is a mix between swordsman like Guts from Berserk and a grappler. And then we got Prompto, who uses guns in a comic relief kind of way. He's kind of like Usopp, I guess. That's just the best way I could put it. That's it for Final Fantasy 15. Now we got Final Fantasy 10. We got 5 characters for Final Fantasy 10. We got Titus, Yuna, Waka, Jetch, correct me if I'm mispronouncing that, and Orin. Titus is a rushdown with light disjoints. Yuna would be a zoner type character given that, you know, she uses magic and maybe trap because of summons. Waka is also a zoner. He throws boomerangs pretty much. Jetch is basically like a more advanced version of Titus, you know. He got meteor combos, you know, like father, like son, you know what I'm saying? Orin is just a heavy type all-around character pretty much. Now we're going to go into the Final Fantasy games that only have one representative, those being the Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy 1, Vaughn from Final Fantasy 12, Y'shtola from Final Fantasy 14, and the protagonist of the new Final Fantasy 16, Clive. So the Warrior of Light would be like a defensive counter-based character with meaty attacks. Vaughn would be very good offensively but have very bad defensive options. Y'shtola would just be a zoner, and Clive would be a rushdown, and he uses like fire swordsman. He's kind of like Squall, I guess. More on him later. We don't know too much about him, so you could just kind of like theorize that moveset. Now we go into Final Fantasy 8. We got 2 characters from Final Fantasy 8. We have Squall and Rinoa. Okay, Squall is a combo-based rushdown type character with mid-range projectiles. He has the gun blade, and his blade can shoot bullets at a very slow It's like a shotgun kind of, but it can also be like a Gatling gun, or no, not a revolver. It's a revolver. I'm stupid. Rinoa is kind of crazy. Rinoa is a stance change character. She has, you know, the base form where it's her and her dog Angelo, and then she transforms into an angel. I don't know the plot reasoning behind that, but she transforms into an angel and she can't use Angelo while she's in angel form. We have 2 characters from Final Fantasy 9. We got Zidane. He's rushdown combo oriented. He's essentially a smaller version of Squall. He's smaller, faster. He doesn't have any projectiles. And then we got the homie Vivi. Vivi's a zoner. That's all you need to know. And we got Final Fantasy 13. You know, we got Lightning. She can go from stance change between rushdown and zoner, but she has really bad defensive options given how fast she is. Saz, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Fucking Seuss. His name is Seuss now. His range can change with the different types of guns he uses. So he's essentially a zoner, but he can like create different zones. So if he has like a shotgun, he gets 2, he has the Akimbo, a Gatling gun, machine gun, all that type of stuff. You know, he just switches and stuff. Cecile Harvey from Final Fantasy 4. He's a stance change character, and he's a little bit on the heavy side, but he can go from a heavy speed to a heavy shoot, basically, I guess. Golbez is a zoner with bad defense. And that's it for all the Final Fantasy characters. That takes up like half the roster, I believe. A little bit more than half, probably like 54% of the rosters of Final Fantasy. With that being said, now we're gonna get into Dragon Quest. You know, we got the main character from 3, Erdrick. He's basically an all-around character. The Luminary from 11. He's an all-around character, but he's got a horse. He just uses a horse for some of his specials, I guess. I thought it'd be funny to put it in. Then we got Luca, the main character from 5. He's slower than your typical rushdown, and his defense is okay at best, but I think he'd be a pretty good character. Then you got Dragon Lord. In his base form, he's a mage, but he can change it to his stance into a heavy when he transforms into a dragon. And then we got the mascot of Dragon Quest, Slime. He'd be like a tackle character. He's a joke character, I guess. And then you got 2 party members from 11, which would be Eric and Veronica. Eric is a rushdown with magic low-tier defensive options, and Veronica is a small zoner with bad close-range defense. But she's very hard to hit given how fast she is. And that's all we have for Dragon Quest. Now we're gonna go into Kingdom Hearts. We got Sora, you know? He's a rushdown with projectiles, but his defense is kind of shitty. Riku, a little bit slower than Sora. He's got good damage output. You got mid-range projectile. And his defense is a little bit better than Sora's, for sure. Now we got Roxas. Roxas would be like a combo-oriented type character. He's way faster than Sora, in my eyes, and his combos would be insane. He's just very fast. fast, and he might be the most broken character in the game. I don't know. We got to figure out how to nerf him. And then all we got for Aqua is that she's a zoner, but she can do a little bit of close range attack. She says she's better, like back there. You know what I'm saying? Then we got Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. You know, he's got counter-based attacks while wielding the Guardian, but the Guardian can disappear after a few amount of hits. We got Xehanort, Old Man Xehanort. He uses the Keyblade, not K-E-Y, the Greek letter key.
Keyblade!
He uses the Keyblade really slow with a heavy damage output. He's got long range, but he's got bad close range defense. And then we got Xemnas. He's slower, but his moveset is combo oriented, and he has a trap super with the laser dome, you know, when you max X and triangle at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Now this one is kind of be like out of the blue because it's not an RPG, but Square Enix recently bought a property in February of this year.
Oh yeah, it's tail time.
And that property is Gex. No, but all jokes aside, Gex would be like a rushdown character. That's all I can really tell you. But I guess I don't know what to tell you. I never played Gex. And now we're going into the Nier series. We have 4 characters from Nier. 3 of them are from Automata, and the last one is from Replicant. 3 that are from Automata are 2B, 9S, and A2, and the one that is from Replicant is Nier the brother. A lot of these characters are very similar. Like 2B and 9S are basically the same. They have stance changes. Yeah, but A2 is just a slower version, but with a stronger attack output than 2B, and they don't have very much range. And A2 is essentially very punishable because it's like a berserk type character, I guess. I don't know how else I'm gonna put it, but 9S and Nier are very similar in the fact that they can zone effectively with the little books. Thing is, I've never played Nier, so I think all the characters have that. I might be stupid, but 9S's defense is atrocious, and Nier is like really bad defense because he uses a two-handed sword. Now we're getting into Chrono Trigger. Well, the Chrono series, I should say. And for the Chrono series, we have 4 characters. It was very hard to narrow it down to 4. We have Chrono, Luca, Frog, and Surge. Chrono, he's an all-around good defense, good combos, but he has insane magic damage. Luca is a fire zoner with relatively okay combos. She's just better at zoning. Frog is water magic oriented. He has a strong attack output, and his defense is kind of meh, but he can use his water magic to like stun, I guess. And then we have Surge from Chrono Cross. You know, he's all around. He's basically just a weaker version of Chrono in my eyes. He might be stronger than Chrono. I'm not sure yet. We have 4 more series left. The next one is World Ends With You. We have 3 characters. We have Neku, Joshua, and Sho. Neku is possibly a zoner, but he's got pretty good combo attacks, but it's kind of weak. He's very fast though, but he can be punished if he's caught. Joshua is also a zoner. He's slower, but he's got better defense, and he has specific combo finishers that can buff his super damage, because I guess in World Ends With You, my brother told me that if you press like a certain button or like a certain number or whatever, then he gets like a certain buff. But the only way you could like transfer that into a fighting game is if you like buff his super damage. So yeah, Sho is essentially a slower version of Neku, but his level 3 could transform him into a noise. Now the next series we have is Bravely Default. I've never seen any gameplay of Bravely Default. All I know is that Agnes is a zoner mage type, and Tiz he's a sword magic user. He can basically coat his sword with magic spells and just use those like elemental sword swings, I guess, best way to put it. Then we got Octopath Traveler. We have 2 characters that would be Cyrus and Primrose. Cyrus, he can target weaknesses on a character, but he's essentially a zoner. And Primrose, she can use dark attacks by dancing and hitting her enemies, I guess. I don't know how that would work. And then the last game that we have on this list is Secret of Mana. We have Randy and Prim. Randy is a swordsman, combo oriented. His range is pretty dog shit though. He's basically just Chrono without magic. Prim is basically a claw fighter with healing properties, so she could heal her teammates. Now, with the teammate mechanic, you know, there's a lot of potential for combo attacks. You know, you could just combine some of Cloud's magic with Sora's magic with Chrono's magic. You know, there's a lot of opportunities. And then, you know, we have some healers on here, and they could essentially heal their teammates' lost health. Not too much though, to the point where it's broken. It's just ever so slightly. It's just like base cure 1. That's all I can really say about this Square Enix fighting game. If you think that there's anybody that I missed, if you think there's any series that I missed, if you guys enjoyed the roster creation videos, I'm gonna do more of these. I don't know what type of roster I would create, but just comment down below what kind of roster you want to see me make. or what characters you think I missed, or what games you want me to cover for my TLDR videos, which by the way, we're almost at 100 subs. A big percentage of y'all that are watching my video, it's like 80%, they're not subbed. Yeah, y'all need to sub up for me, please. And I really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all leave a like, comment, whatever, comment your thoughts on this list, comment what games I should cover, comment what type of rosters I should create. I'm working on so much content, it's not even funny, bro. And I really do appreciate y'all for being here for me and, you know, watching this video. And Carlito, I appreciate you for making the roster graphic. I appreciate you for helping me create the roster as a whole, you know, just dumb it down a little bit so it's not like too big. We came out to like 65 characters. I don't remember the exact number, but man, I'm so happy to have made this video. Shout out RTG for helping me create like the archetypes and stuff, you know, so I can go more in depth with the characters instead of just naming them off. So this video is getting kind of long. I really appreciate y'all for watching the whole thing through. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Subscribe to Carlito. It's pretty much all I can say. I love y'all, man. I'm gonna see y'all on the flip. Peace.